Welcome to our video series on repairing the illustrious Speedway 5. So now that I put them all in by hand with a bit, I'll go ahead and tighten them all down by hand with a T-handle. Now I've tightened down all the bolts on the rotor. I used a ratchet with a Allen key bit, but you could use a T-handle just as well. I found a good ratchet with a good handle. Makes it much easier to get the bolts tight without stripping them. Let's get a look now at the how the assembly looks from the factory. How the wire goes into the tube there and covering it completely. It's all the way inside of the shaft, and everything looks good, so far. The rotor's on there very good. You can hear by the ding that it's attached solidly. There you go. So here you see you want to make sure you check your tire pressure. And I went ahead and checked my tire pressure, and I used my air compressor there to pump it up. I put mine to 45 psi, which the max on this one says 36 psi, but I go about 45 psi because I like the rigid, very rigid tire that rides like a motorcycle. I have a good suspension, the A5 shocks and the other shocks, 291s on the rear, to make the ride really soft. And this also causes the tire to be a little better protected from damage, like you know, nails in the road or debris in the road, except for when you hit a curb, like a parking stop or something. Then you'll probably blow a tire. So now that our bolts are tight, snug tight with Loctite on them, we've checked our tire pressure, in the front. We're going to go ahead and reassemble this onto the carrier. In order to assemble this onto the carrier, we're going to have to put one of the shocks back on so that it can hold the carrier in place while I actually put the tire on. And as you can see here, I also picked up the brand new Doltron Storm, which is quite an amazing vehicle. Waiting on my light bar, but I got it all set up, ready to go. Got a few lights on it, you know how it goes. And then basically it's an unbelievable, ridiculous machine so far. And I just love driving it. But I tell you what, it doesn't take anything away from this lovely little Speedway 5. Anyway, back to our video about our dear old friend, the Speedway 5. Now we've come along a little farther. I have the bolt and the washers assembled. First is the flat washer, then the turned up washer, and then the turned down washer. Has to be in the correct position for the notch, and also set up properly to fit into the rear carrier. While we have this all apart, and I already have the wheel motor out, I have the wheel ready and assembled, ready to go on to the carrier. And I have the everything ready to be wired. I have a piece of string ready to pull through the body to pull it up to the front. Before I do that, I'm going to replace the fender because I have a little hi-ho silver mark here that I want to get rid of. So the next thing to do is to fix the wiring for the rear taillight, which is a little confusing that it actually is jumper pins that are pushed into the block. And so I'll show you how to take these apart and push the jumper pins through, or push the wires through, and then put the new wires for the new part into the correct blocks, and which ones go to which block and how it's done.